It is the Anthony Cumia Show. Hi, everyone. How you doing? Sunday night, live from New York City. Always a pleasure to come back to the Big Apple, is what they call it, I guess. Been here all weekend. It's so much nicer being closer to the crime. When I read about it, and I'm way down there in South Carolina, I just don't feel as close to the murder, rape, robbery, shenanigans, and hijinks that go on in the great city of New York. And, the police tape, it's always refreshing to walk past rolled up police tape, maybe some gauze and bandages that still have blood on them from EMS and all that fun stuff. Yeah. Part of being in New York, part and parcel with living in one of our grand cities like New York. I hate to have to come back and crap all over it. It does suck that, born and raised. Anyone that knows me knows, born and raised Long Island, New York, as a little kid in the suburbs, and they'd throw us in the school bus for the field trip. We'd have to fill out our permission slip to go to the Museum of Natural History. And then they throw us in a bus and bus us into New York City. And we'd point and laugh, bums and prostitutes. It was great. But we kind of felt safe, I guess. Now I don't feel safe anywhere in the city. I got to tell you. I'm in a cab. The windows are up, and they're kind of tinted. But I'm looking out, and I'm just thinking, you don't even have to be the target. You could just be someone that got in the way of someone else's bullet. We see that happen all the time. The innocent bystander. And they go, they were hit by a stray bullet. A stray bullet? No, that bullet went exactly where the dummy put it. It's not a stray. And it's not a gun issue. There is a problem going on in this city. And I looked around, I'm just like, how do you know you're not just going to be sitting there and something comes through the door or the window, and, before you know it, Mamdani is talking about it or posting about it. Oh, we're heartbroken. All of our thoughts and prayers go out to the family, and we want to fix this problem, the gun problem. Because he was saying this about the 12-year-old that got killed. That's always nice, coming to New York City and having a 12-year-old kid get shot by some thug gangbangers. He just riding his bike. Guess he was going to a bodega to get a ball to play with his friends on the bike. And a couple of these a-holes start trading shots with each other. And, of course, they don't hit each other. They don't kill each other, which I always look at as a plus. One of them gets killed. It's one less piece of garbage that might hurt someone else. But this time, like so many other times, there it was. A little kid gets shot. And Mamdani, of course, let me see. I got his post here. What did he say? It's the same thing every time. Just pencil in the new victim, talk about the problem that he'll never fix or try to fix or actually address. Zorhan posted this. 12-year-old was shot and killed in the Bronx earlier today. My heart breaks for his family, friends, and those who loved him. Their loss is unimaginable. I'm praying for the speedy recovery of the other two victims of the shooting. Who, the gangbangers? I'm surprised he's not at the hospital seeing if they're okay. I'm grateful for the hospital staff, the NYPD, for their work to find those responsible for this heinous act. Our children should be able to ride their bikes on a nice summer day in their neighborhood without fear of being shot. We cannot accept this violence as normal. Yeah, you're right. We can't. What a great thing to say. We can't accept this violence as being normal. But then, what do? Not just Mamdani, but the judges and the DAs and everyone else that is supposed to take care of the what they call bad guys, the criminal element, the people that are pulling the trigger and killing 12-year-old kids or old ladies or anybody but their intended target. He doesn't do anything about that part of it. These people are constantly being let out. Oh, they were known to the police. Oh, the record he had, it's a record from the 90s. And you go, well, why was he out? Why was he able to procure a gun and carry it around with impunity? You know, at least during the wonder years of the Giuliani administration, and even Bloomberg until he decided that stop and frisk was something that had to go away. What was he trying to get elected again? And he knew that a certain base here in New York wouldn't like or didn't like stop and frisk. It was one of the most effective ways of getting guns out of the possession of the bad guys. It wasn't 100%, but it's certainly, you know, a lot of these guys didn't want to be caught with a gun. And they knew that the cops would grab them and put them against the wall and ask them some questions and then frisk them. And if they had a gun on them, they were going to jail. And they were losing their gun. Now, oh, it's the worst thing you could ever do. Oh, what about our rights? What about this or that or the other thing? They don't care about your safety. And they certainly don't care about the safety of a 12-year-old on his bike. I don't care what Mamdani says or anyone else about thoughts and prayers and the poor parents, and we feel for this one. And you're not really doing anything about the problem. There's no real repercussions until someone kills somebody. And then you hope they're taken into court and getting a reasonable sentence after a conviction. But it doesn't seem to be happening. They rob, they rape, they steal, they assault, and then they're let out. And then they kill someone, and everyone goes, oh, well, see, well, we got to make sure he gets put in jail for that. Well, you had a laundry list of things this guy was doing beforehand, and you paid no attention to it. So you don't care. They don't care about these kids. It's a shame. You know, like I said, during the Giuliani years and part of the Bloomberg administration, they were doing something. They were trying to do something. Crime was down. Shootings were down. The bad element knew that if they did something, there would be consequences. Now, not a thing. Nothing. Danny over there in Astoria, Queens. What's up, Danny?
How you doing? So I was wondering, when you came back to New York, did you bring any weapons with you or self-defense methods like bear spray?
I wish. You're not allowed to bring any weapons into New York City to defend yourself. Even if you're completely legal, went through all the hoops in another state to get licensed, get your permits, buy your guns, they tell you, like, nope, you're not allowed to bring them into New York. A lot of the states, because I'm in South Carolina, I got pistols and rifles, and I carry all the time down in South Carolina. And then I have to go to the airport to come into New York City, and you feel naked. You got to drop your weapons, leave them at home, and you go, well, this doesn't feel good. I don't feel safe. I don't feel like the powers that be in New York are protecting me. So no, Danny, I could not bring one thing to defend myself. And like I said, you know damn well they're not going to do the job for you. Crazy.
Yeah, well, right now I'm in Utah, and I'm armed just like you, and I got to go back to New York. My mother's 80, you know, she's getting old, and I'm trying to figure out what I need to bring. Can I bring brass knuckles, a little can of bear spray, anything?
I think technically everything is illegal, but they'll cut you some slack. Like, I think everyone carries some type of mace now. I don't know about brass knuckles or a knife or something like that. But I've always talked about this too. Like, oh, you should carry a knife. Like, yeah, I'm going to get into some protracted West Side Story knife fight with some kid that practiced how to fight with a knife at my age. Like, no, a gun is the great equalizer. You are on equal footing with any person that means to do you great bodily harm. A knife? Or I'm going to spray him in the face with some mace or something. No, thanks. If I have somebody that wants to do me great bodily harm or kill me, I want the ability to respond in kind. And New York does not allow you as an American citizen with your Second Amendment right to bear arms, does not allow you to do that. And they get away with it with the, we're allowed to regulate the Second Amendment and we're allowed to do this. And it's nothing but a complete stomping infringement on our rights, man.
Yeah, I know. I'm almost your age and I'm partially disabled and I have to go back next month. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do.
Yeah, learn jujitsu. Yeah, roll around on the ground and choke someone out. Or get into a knife fight up in Spanish Harlem with somebody. Yeah. That'll go well for us, won't it? Give me a break.
All right, take care.
All right, Danny, thank you, my friend. I don't even have the phone number here. Where's the, oh, my goodness. 1-800-848-9222. That's the one. Give us a call if you want to talk about whatever's going on in the whole world, the country, the city. We'll talk about, what do we got? That Shiloh Hendricks case. That's an infringement on the First Amendment. We have the Brandon Gill. He was talking about kind of grilling the Bar Association president about things. He's always funny. But like I said, those congressional hearings go nowhere either. It's one of those, he sure showed her. And then nothing happens. It's entertainment. It's definitely just a show. But all right, lots to do tonight. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. Back in a minute. The Anthony Cumia Show. Thanks for tuning in. Lovely Sunday evening, spending it with you. It's a dream come true for me. We are approaching in a month or so, a little over a month, right? September, the 25th anniversary of 9/11. I can't believe 25 years. It's so vivid in my memory. Just a terrible, terrible day. I still remember it in such detail, everything that went on. And the subsequent months and then years after, on that first year anniversary, I was thinking about 25 years. I was thinking, what is the 25th anniversary going to be like? Are we going to just forget it, not do anything? Like, I don't know, were they doing anything 25 years after Pearl Harbor? Big events like that, these horrible things that had happened that are commemorated, yearly anniversaries. The 5-year anniversary of 9/11, I remember that. The reading of the names, the lights in the sky. And again, I just have such a vivid memory of this. And I thought, like, what will 25 years after this look like? Are we going to forget? Because at that time, especially the first year anniversary, and then the 5th year was a big thing. And it was always very somber, people with their recollections of what happened. And there was this coming together as Americans. There was still this unity because we were Americans. We remember this happening vividly. It was terrible. And it really united us in the weeks after. That was really something we just have not seen since. That's for sure. The American flags, the courtesy that people were giving each other, especially in this city. You didn't put such importance on that guy cut me off or I'm not letting you in to my lane. There was more of this just, hey, we're all Americans. We've been through something really bad. I really don't care about my parking space or getting in front of you in traffic. That's how we were. And those subsequent anniversaries, 10-year anniversary, and very early on, I thought 25 years, what'll that look like? Will we just forget? It'll become a footnote. And no, it's not a footnote. A lot of us haven't forgotten. But you couldn't have convinced me in my wildest hallucinations. I wouldn't have thought we would have a communist Muslim mayor overseeing New York City on the 25th anniversary of 9/11. There is no way you could have sold me on that one. Bruce Jenner being a chick. All right. That I could have been, yeah, all right. He was wearing that half shirt in one of the movies he did. Okay. But having a Muslim and an active, extreme, he's hiding a lot, believe me. Muslim communist mayor overseeing the 25th anniversary. And I'm not alone there with my disgust in this guy, especially 25 years later. The families of 9/11 victims, they have come forward. They're speaking out. They want Zorhan Mamdani banned from the 25th anniversary of the attacks at Ground Zero, branding him an apologist for Islamic terror, whose presence would be an insult to the memories of nearly 3,000 people that were murdered that day. Our objection is based on his public record, his failure to meaningfully acknowledge the horror of that day, and his employment of, support for, or association with individuals who have minimized 9/11, defending terrorists, or even suggesting America deserved the attacks, said Giovanni Galante, whose 29-year-old wife was among the innocent victims killed that day. So he's organizing a petition, a drive to collect over 1,100 signatures in a little over a week. I guess, what is this supposed to do? To prevent him from showing up at these at this event. I don't know if they can do that. And I know damn well he's not going to stay away, and he's going to show up. He's going to give the usual, I'm a nice guy, I'm a good guy, this was a terrible thing. But he's from the same school of thought as like Ilhan Omar and them. Oh, some people did some things. That's how I think they see it. Some people did some things. Galante and other petition organizers hope to gather enough signatures to convince local lawmakers and the ceremony organizers for 9/11 to keep Mamdani away from the silver anniversary ceremony planned at the former Twin Towers site in Lower Manhattan. Yeah, I mean, has he not proven enough through what he says and his actions that he has no sympathy for America of 25 years ago? And here's another thing. There are so many people. Look, I can't blame people for not having been born yet. I get that. But having not been an American at that time, you're still living in a foreign country. You come here. You don't know what it's like to be a child or an adolescent, a young adult in America when that happened. And I don't think you have the capacity to express any kind of real sorrow or sympathy for the people that were there, for the victims, the families. And he shouldn't show up. He should not show up. I remember, God, the days after, the weeks after 9/11, and that pile burned for quite some time. There was a plume of like rust red smoke coming out of that site for quite a while, and you could smell it. And it's another one of those things that are just ingrained in people's memories that were here when this happened. And I remember anybody that said anything bad about it or tried to capitalize off of it. Some of these idiots had a terrible idea. There are people that sell things on the sidewalks. They put their tables up and sell toys during Christmas or stuff they steal from CVS and all that nonsense. But there were people that thought it would be a good idea to take photos of the plane hitting and the planes hitting and the buildings burning and sell them on the streets of New York City. They learned really fast. This was probably one of the worst business ideas since Ralph Cramden would come up with a way to make some money. They were beaten senseless. They beat them. And you saw that grift go away quite quickly. And now our mayor is Zorhan Mamdani, the Muslim commie from Uganda. And he's the one that is going to host the 9/11 25th anniversary service. He's the one. He's the figurehead, the representative, the face of New York City when we pay tribute to all those people that died on that day. I don't know how the family members are dealing with it. I mean, obviously trying to get a petition together to keep them from going down there is something, but, you know, this has to be an anger that is unprecedented. And like I said, it has to be something that you look at and go, how in the hell did this happen? How did this guy become the mayor of this city? And now he's going to be overseeing this memorial, this commemoration of this nightmare. Back in a minute. It's the Anthony Cumia Show, and talking about the 25th anniversary of 9/11 coming up in September, and the fact that we have a Muslim communist mayor in charge, large and in charge there in New York City, Zorhan Mamdani. Let's go to Larry. Larry, how you doing, man?
Hey, brother, man, how are you, Ed?
Good.
I got a sense here. I think here in New York City, this guy Mamdani had a horrible week with issues going on in the city. And I think with the voters, I think reality is somewhat starting to seep in and settle in. I'm going to give another beauty that he did this week.
All right.
On Monday, the crisis here up in the Upper East Side with Legionnaire's disease.
Right.
He's on. He's giving a press conference. Well, I think we're turning the curve on this thing now. It seems to be subsiding. We only got 2 people dead, and I think by week's end it'll be over. Are you St. John? Who are you? I mean,
Dr. Mamdani.
Yeah, Dr. Mamdani. Here you go. This guy is just out of it. Now, with respect to the September 11th memorial, absolutely, this guy should not be there.
Yeah,
like you said, you're not going to stop him. But I think everybody, starting with the top.
Hey, what happened? You there, Larry? Uh-oh. Happened to my phones. Can't treat Larry like that. You don't come to New York City and treat a man like Larry like that. Mike. There he is. You're back. You're back, Larry. What's up?
Yeah, back.
Yeah.
I think he should be going to that event, the September 11th event. I think the groups such as Tunnel the Towers, the PBA, the Firemen's Union,
yep,
DEA, Everybody have got to do something.
These were all people, though. I can't see any of the people, and they had a big demonstration today where people were marching, fire Mamdani, get rid of him. These aren't the people that voted for him. I understand what you're saying, like a lot of people are kind of seeing reality now. I don't think anyone that voted for him has any regrets about voting for this guy. I think these people you're seeing that are speaking out now are the ones that never voted for him and never would vote for this guy. But again, I was talking to other people today, and they say, I don't know anyone who did vote for this guy. I don't know anyone who went in and was proud and said, oh, I voted for Mamdani. Now, maybe we're so divided as a people that I wouldn't know anyone that voted for Mamdani. I wouldn't want to have anything to do with them. But it does seem odd that so many people voted for him. He got in. He's not doing what he promised to do. In some instances, thank God for that. But yeah, it seems like the left has a very hard time seeing the error in their ways. And when you talk about voting for Mamdani, I don't think they see it, Larry.
Anthony, listen.
Yeah.
Let's see what happened in Jersey last week. They said they found 6,000 votes.
Right.
People voted who shouldn't have been voted. That probably times that number by about 15.
Oh, absolutely.
That's why he made a bad stand. This thing's going. I mean, this voter ID stuff has got to be implemented forthwith.
Yeah, but they don't want to do that. And look what Larry. Look at their strategy. Also, whenever anyone wants to bring up, like the SAVE Act and everything, they want to bring up securing our elections. They turn it into you're racist. You're this. You're trying to disenfranchise voters with it. And the vast majority of voters, of citizens, want this. They want their vote to be secure, and they don't want fraud in the system, and they just deny it. They say, no, this is what people want, and if you go through with this, it's going to be some type of horrible racist thing, and we know it's not.
Yeah, but if you want welfare, you go down and get your picture taken. They have no problem with that. But the voting, they have a lot to lose, the politicians.
Yeah. Yep, they do. Larry, thank you, my friend, out there in Staten Island, one of the sane boroughs of New York. I appreciate the call. There he goes. Larry, your mother, Larry. Your mother. And that one, De Niro, Raging Bull. Awesome. We might as well stay on Mamdani a little bit here because he's still trying to do this grocery store thing. Remember his big promise? We're going to have city-run grocery stores because we all know how great New York City has run things over the years. So why not get involved in things that the private sector has done so well, like grocery stores? I always bring up the fact that New York City OTB couldn't run a horse race bookie operation. This is something organized crime was able to do very well, even with the police trying to stop them and whatnot. New York decides, let's run a horse racing operation. We'll call it off-track betting, and they went broke. There was so much fraud and so much nonsense going on in the OTB that they wound up losing money. Yeah, they lost money. So I don't have any faith that a city, regardless of what city it is, but New York is going to run grocery stores. All right. That sounds good. So there's a story here, and this is something else that the other cities have tried to do these things, and Mamdani has just maybe not taken notice, not seen how it works or doesn't work in these other cities. The buses, remember the fast free buses? The city that was kind of his example of this wound up having to go back to having a paid fare on the buses because they went broke. The amount of money it takes to run a transit system, you got to pay the maintenance for the vehicles, you got to pay for the vehicles, the drivers, the insurance, whatever it takes. And he's just like, oh yeah, free buses, free this, free that. And then you can't do it. It's not fiscally viable. So here's an example These are 7 Save-A-Lot grocery stores in Chicago. And lo and behold, they're city-run, and they're shutting down. This is AC20 is the clip. Yeah, got it. AC20. Oh, boo, 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 boo.
In Chicago,
there we go.
Progressive policies are on full display where grocery stores in predominantly minority neighborhoods have been forced to close, leaving residents scrambling, and the city is blaming Trump's cuts to the SNAP program despite pumping $13 million worth of taxpayer money into them. It's unbelievable. Now these grocery stores, of course, are reaching out for private investment. We'll get to that, but just don't take it from us. Take it from the Chicago residents who are dealing with it and impacted directly. Listen to this.
It's going to be an impact on the community and people close nearby that they won't be able to get necessities and what they need at a convenience for them. So.
It's just opened up. Now it's about to close down again. We have nothing.
Grand opening, grand closing.
You know, so I don't know what we're going to do. There's nothing around here.
I mean, it's going to affect the community for sure. Everybody going to have to travel out now and go to big grocery stores. And what about the people who don't got transportation that ain't able to make it to the big grocery stores?
That's a reasonable store in the neighborhood, you know. The rest of them around here is so expensive.
There you go.
So
you
Chicago's.
There you go. What do you think the problem is? Why would you think a store would have to close? Because, look, the free supermarkets, and they're for low-income communities. These are people that are struggling. They don't have a lot of money, and it sounds good. It sounds like a good idea. It sounds very noble. We're going to give people the opportunity to shop at these stores and spend a lot less for the food they need for their families. Utopia, some type of unattainable paradise, because you have to get your ducks in order before you can put something like that online and have it running. And the worst part of it is that in a lot of these low-income neighborhoods, they don't want to take care of the crime problem. And that's the number one issue. They said it in the story that it's the robberies and the theft that's going on. Their employees are being assaulted and robbed, and they have to close these stores down. Unless you can make it safe and profitable, you know, it's a city-run thing, so profitable doesn't even matter. Profit it doesn't matter to them. Oh, we'll lose money hand over fist. But we can't just get robbed and have our people assaulted while they're trying to run these businesses. And they won't do what needs to be done. Have consequences for the criminal action that's causing these problems and shutting down these stores. And then the people in the community, they're so surprised. What happened? What, they just were here. They just opened. Why are they closing down? You know why. How long is a business supposed to just stay in business when they're losing money hand over fist through thievery, when their employees are being beaten, and then when they're told that they can't even do anything during the commission of crimes in their stores? Oh, call the police. That's become the biggest joke. Call the police. Do you think the cops can do anything about this? People think they live in Mayberry. Oh, somebody stole a tractor tire from my yard. Oh, we'll get right on that one. Hey, Barney, you seen a tractor tire? That's what's going on. You have to take care of the crime first. And people like Mamdani and a lot of the other people in charge of these cities do not want to look at the problem, face it, and do something about it. They will not. So we're stuck with communities that have no stores anymore. It's amazing. No stores. And then you get poor old grandma can't get her rheumatism medicine because all the CVS's closed because they were being robbed. And then they blame the companies. I've seen it. I've seen the activists get out there on the news. They blame the companies. They say it's about race, and the companies leave. Could you imagine a company that was making money in a community, and then, of course, the evil men in the boardroom get up there and they shut the door and they say, we're going to pull all our stores out of that community, but we're making a lot of money here. Yeah, but look at the people. We're racist. We don't want to serve that community. Oh, I'd hate to have to give up so much money, but we're racists. What else can we do but close all the stores? End scene. There you go. That's my little play for the evening. No, it's because they're losing money. They're being robbed, and the people at the stores are being assaulted. So you kind of have to clean up your own areas. You kind of got to make sure that a store can stay open. And I don't remember this ever happening. When I was a kid, we knew a place like the South Bronx was a war zone. It was insane. Every building was burnt out and crumbling. I don't even know who was running a store in that area. And that was understandable. I don't know any store that would want to open or do business in that area at that time. But they knew there was a problem. They went in, got rid of all those busted out, burnt out buildings, rebuilt, and now it doesn't look like that anymore. But if you can't control the crime in an area, you're not going to get businesses to come in. And if you're so scared that people are going to look at you, if you're a mayor or any other person with any political power in these neighborhoods, and you're like, well, I'd like to do something about crime, but I sure don't want to seem like I'm in bed with the man. I don't want to seem like I'm against my people. Well, then your people are going to do without stores and without drugstores and food and things like that. Putting the cart before the horse. You're trying to open up these stores, these city-run, low-cost grocery stores. Like I said, a noble idea, but you're not doing what needs to be done first. And they constantly do this. Look at the tolls, the taxes, the parking that prevents people from driving into the city. And then they want to tell you, you got Hochul with her photo op on the New York City subway system going, yeah, leave your car. We have congestion pricing. We understand. We just want to lower the amount of vehicles coming into New York. But we're a great city with a great transit system. And she's standing there smiling on the train with smiling people. And yeah. And then they go, all right, cut, print it. Good job, Hochul. And they leave. And disgusting monsters come in to defecate all over the nice subway train. That's what's going on. So again, they tell you they don't want you driving in. They make it very expensive. And then what happens? They give you the option to put your life in danger hopping on one of these subways full of literally monsters, like movie monsters that are doing things that are so heinous and disgusting and deadly in some cases. So they put the cart before the horse. They don't make sure that whatever they're planning to do, that it can work. They don't take care of things. They don't put their ducks in line before they put these things in place. And now I can't imagine getting on a subway in New York. I know people, they go, no, it's fine. Maybe. You want to roll those dice? You want to spin that Russian roulette cylinder when you're going on a subway? If you have to take a subway every day because you can't afford to drive into to the city, you're going to be on a train at some point that is horrible and dangerous. And there is no reason that should happen. New York City has an army of police. The NYPD is bigger by far than any other city's police department in this country. And you can't put the cops where they need to be to thwart some crime in the subways. There should be cops at every one of these, especially the problem stations. There should be a cop on every single train walking through the doors. That's their job. You have to walk through the doors, a couple of cops on every train. Oh, that costs money. Yeah, that costs money. What do you want me to do? You're making everybody take the train instead of driving in. Take the money from your congestion pricing tolls and the bridges and tunnels that cost $1,000 for commuters a year, and use it to put cops where they need to be, not just strolling around somewhere. I see, and I don't even blame the cops. They're told where they're supposed to be and where to go. It's not like a TV show. I was told to stay here in Times Square, but I'm going down into the subway and do my job. Doesn't happen that way. Doesn't work that way. But that's what we're faced with. And look, what is it, 100 days till Election Day? And you have a chance. You have a chance to vote for a governor. And you dummies, if you just put Hochul, you put Kathy Hochul back in there, I have no sympathy whatsoever for this city or state anymore. Don't be stupid. You're going to disappoint me, aren't you? Back in a minute. The Anthony Cumia Show. Like I said, 100 days till the election, the midterms, some governor races, and other things. It's, you see the commercials. They're starting up. Everyone's getting out in front of a microphone. So, you got to make your decision. The Democrats are a little nervous about this democratic socialism. You see, some of these Democrats are saying, well, we're a big tent kind of a party, and we like diversity and all different ideology. And then the big but they understand, they have to understand that I don't care what the media is showing you or celebrities from Hollywood. America really doesn't like communism. Yeah. I'm going out on a limb here. I'm crazy. The majority of Americans do not like the idea of communists being in charge. And I don't care what you call them, a commie by any other name. And there's this DSA, Democrat Socialist Association, is it? The co-chairwoman, Megan Romer. And I love when they can't hold these people back. They can't keep them from speaking what they're all about. This is the truth. What this dummy is saying is the truth. This is the policies of these Democrat socialists like Zorhan Mamdani and all the rest of them, where they're saying, it's taking off. We're getting so many young people that are into this movement, this Democrat socialist movement. And then they talk about it like it's not fanatical. It's not extreme. And then you see someone like the DSA chair, co-chair Megan Romer, when she talks and you go, see, They just can't keep it to themselves. So this is AC21 is the clip. Let's listen to this one, Spill the Beans.
So we're going to put up on the screen a few of the things that are part of your platform, and I want to ask you, just give me sort of a true or false on these. Abolish the Senate.
True.
What?
Okay. Replace the presidency and Supreme Court as we now know them.
Yep.
Abolish ICE.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Abolish borders and give amnesty to anyone currently in the U.S. illegally.
Great.
As a long-term plan, yep.
Defund the Pentagon.
What?
Absolutely.
Abolish prisons, at least in large part.
Yeah, again, that, as part of a long-term program, yeah.
Okay, so no prisons. Government or public
Okay, so no
ownership
prisons.
of most large corporations.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. Private government ownership of private businesses, no jails, no Pentagon. No, you know, for the United States of America to pretty much just give up funding the military, these are insane people. This woman is mental, and they have support. The DSA, these Democrat socialists, they have support from the brainwashed, dumb, young people. But there are older people, too, that are falling for this nonsense. And your mayor here in New York City, Zorhan Mamdani, is one of these. This is his platform, too. He doesn't want jails. Look, they've been trying to shut down Rikers for quite a while. Where are those people going? To other jails? Or are they going to give him an ankle bracelet and send him out to live next door to your mother, grandmother, kids? Oh, because that's safe, right? After one of these convicts are let out, because, no prisons, no bail, no repercussions for crime. Once they kill someone, he could just put out his official pre-written statement of how sorry he is and thoughts and prayers to the family. If he was anything about safety, he wouldn't be talking about closing prisons. And then this one, get rid of the Senate, get rid of the Supreme Court. What do you want? I'll tell you what they want. They want a power base, the government, they call it. It's their upper echelon. Believe me, this woman wants to be one of the people sitting in the big chair, one of the people that don't have to pay attention to any of that, whatever their policies are. Oh, the lowly peasant citizens have to listen to us and hand over their businesses and adhere to our rules. But there's the few people at the top of the pyramid that get to live a great life. That's the one thing about communism. The people at the tippity top live like kings. And then all the rest of the people get to enjoy the crumbs that those people at the top of the pyramid so graciously hand you. And then they say everyone gets the same thing. No one's ahead of anyone else. No one's special. You all get medical care. Oh, it's the lousiest, crappiest medical care ever. And you can't even decide if you want something better. There's only one, but it's all the same. And isn't that great? Because that means everyone's equal. We're all getting the same thing. And then again, the people at the top of the pyramid, like when you look at some of these tyrannical nations with the oligarchy, the oligarchs. And what do they do when they get sick? Do they go to the same hospitals that their minion go to? No, they were constantly being flown to the best hospitals in America and getting treatment there because they knew damn well their people were getting the crappiest treatment available. But it's all the same crappy treatment. So it's equal, so it's great. And they sit there and they love it and they support it. And Zorhan, he smiles on his TikTok videos. That's all we need. A Zorhan Mamdani smile is worth waiting 6 to 8 months for key medical treatment to keep you alive. Disappointed again. Back in a minute. The Anthony Cumia Show. Thanks for joining us this Sunday evening. I'm just scrolling through social media here, X, and Party for Socialism says, a sleeping giant has been awoken in Madison, Wisconsin, after police officer Keel Peterson Officer Keel Peterson executed Corey Ruiz in broad daylight. The people of Madison have taken to the streets every night since, demanding justice for Corey and the arrest of the cop who murdered him. All eyes are on Madison. That the guy with the knife? Is that the guy with the knife that stabbed the cop and they summarily dispatched him? Made him take the street temperature challenge? This is what's happening. This is what we knew it would turn into. Years ago, there used to have to be something where people said, oh, my God, he was unarmed. Oh, he wasn't doing anything. There had to be some kind of maybe the cops were being a little overzealous. We've had some instances in New York City. Abner Louima, might remember him. Was he the plunger guy? They took him down to the old precinct and gave him the old roto-rooter. And then there's the other one that was pulling his wallet out and took like 80 shots from the cops. And, people go, all right, maybe a little overzealous. But the guy was trying to stab the cops, this Ruiz gentleman, and then the cops shot him. And they march around and say that the cop needs to be arrested for murder. Never once saying in their comments that he had a knife and was using it at the time against the cops. Unbelievable. This is where we are right now. There's no sanity whatsoever to the people that want to defend some of the worst martyrs I've ever seen in my life. I saw a clip last night, tragic clip. Some guy in a pickup truck, a white guy, and he had some hat on that would have maybe made you think he was a white supremacist. Cop comes to the door, starts asking him questions. The guy pulls a gun out and shoots the cop right there, dead. Terrible. And then there's this chase. They're using the Bearcat, the big armored car, to try to pit maneuver his car and throw him off the road. They finally get him. They pin his vehicle against a cement abutment. There are more cops than I've ever seen. It looked like the end of the Blues Brothers. And they get out, all these cops, and just unload into the guy's vehicle. It went on for so long with everything, rifles, pistols, shotguns. And finally, one of the cops yells, ceasefire. There's no movement. He doesn't seem to be breathing. The follow-up where they show where all the bullet holes went into the vehicle and they put the little straws to denote what angle the bullets took, it looked like a porcupine. The car looked like a porcupine. There wasn't anyone that saw that video that commented and said, oh, man, the cops went too far. Oh, who knows, if this guy had mental problems. Oh, they should have tried to shoot him in the hand. I love that one. No one. Because we look at criminals, and if they even match our skin color, we go, yeah, no, good, he's gone. That was a problem. Imagine supporting someone based on nothing but, wow, his skin color is similar to mine, so I don't care how big a piece of garbage he is, I'm going to defend him to the hilt. That's where we're living. That's where we're at right now. Terrible. Martin in New York. What's up, my friend?
Hello, Anthony.
Hola.
Your show, I think of your show as the first show of the new week.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I listen every Sunday night.
Appreciate it.
So anyway, Mamdani, he's a communist. He's a straight up communist, and so are all the people he's appointed.
Yep.
He's for taking over private property, which is what he's trying to do. If the rich people don't want to stay here and pay more taxes, he wants to get their property.
Yes.
He says that these grocery stores he's going to have are going to be good. They're not going to be any good. They're going to just put private businesses out of business.
That's his goal.
So, yeah. The government take over everything and tell you what to think, tell you where you can go, when you can go, wherever you want to go. It's up to the government, and the government will take care of you. And you better not be against his government, or else.
No, why would you be, though? Martin, why would you be against the government? They're giving you things you need. Everyone's
equal. They're going to make everybody equally miserable.
Equally miserable. You bring up a point about this housing thing, too. They, with the rent freezes and allowing, he put out a statement the other day about the rights of people that don't pay their rent, the rights of squatters, how long it should take to be able to evict somebody. He's on the side of people that are freeloading and are costing landlords money, and they raise the rents, they raise the taxes, and then they tell them they can't raise the rent on their tenants. And look, I know there are plenty of crappy landlords all over, especially in New York, but it's a motivation. They're motivated to have these buildings have to be sold to the city or the state and open them up as state-run apartments.
I didn't know anyone who was at the World Trade Center when it was hit. I didn't personally know anyone, but I saw that on television, and I couldn't help but cry when I saw that
terrible
crumble down. And this man should not be there. I agree with those guys with the petition. He should not be there. He's anti-American. He's anti our country 100%. He hates our country. He shouldn't be there anything, for any reason. He's no good. He should be deported along with his buddy there, Mahmoud Khalil. They should both be deported there. Put them on a boat and send them back where they come from.
I like your take, Martin. Thank you. Thanks for the call, buddy. Yeah, a lot of people are not happy with this. Just representing the city. When Giuliani was mayor back then, and I just remember the walking down the West Side Highway with the mask on, and him, the fire chiefs, the police chiefs. It was, you just felt so bad about what happened, and they were the people you looked at to go, wow, where are we going from here? How will this get better? What are we going to, and when are we going to rebuild? And then 25 years later, this is the face of New York. Zorhan Mamdani is the face of New York now. It's disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting. It is, we were just saying, 100 days till the election, and there are some people running for office. One of these are Mike Lindell, the My Pillow guy. This guy, oh my God. Mike Lindell was a crack addict. It's in his book. I had interviewed him a couple of times on the old Opie and Anthony show and on my podcast. And he always seemed a little nuts. But, sometimes the nutty people, if they're good-natured and they mean well, and it seemed like this guy had started a business. It became very lucrative. He was hiring people that were all also recovering drug addicts and whatnot. Just one of those good kind of stories of success coming, the phoenix rising from the ashes. And then you realize, oh, he's crazier than that. Now he's running for governor of Minnesota. My Pillow in Minnesota. And he wants to make it easier for illegals to stay here in the United States. Who is his base? Who are you going for here, Mr. Lindell? Someone ought to, I'll get the pillow out and put it over his face. It's not a good platform if you supposedly, he was a Trump guy. He'd been to a lot of the Trump rallies. And now, what's he doing? We could start this. Give me a little Mike Lindell, AC-14, because this is bat crap crazy.
Here's what I propose.
I
want to make conditional non-resident visas. And this would be, I'm going to actually talk to the president about this, but I want to start with Minnesota.
Right.
These conditional non-resident visas, you would have 6 months. Anyone's here that is an illegal immigrant comes in, you get checked in the courthouse, you get fingerprinted, you get checked in to get this conditional non-resident visa.
In.
Now you have 6 months to do that. You're not a citizen, but you don't have to leave ever, as long as a couple of things happen. One is you can't commit a crime be convicted of a crime of a gross misdemeanor or better. Right now we have 1,300 people in Minnesota that are in our prisons that are illegal. We pay $110 million a year to house them. They need to be shipped out. Okay.
But the president is not going to go for this.
Let me finish the plan, Esme. So
she had a great point
you have this, and now at the end of the 6 months, these people, if they want to go get a driver's license, they can go get a driver's license. But just like when I used to get DWIs, there was conditions on my driver's license. They will have to get a driver's license, but they will have to learn to speak English and to read our signs here. Okay, that's going to be one of the conditions. Okay, if you want to drive it. Now, if you go to the line to be a legal citizen, then you go to the back of the line. But here's the thing: that line's going to be short, and there's going to be no cost. How are we going to pay for that? Here's how we're going to pay. During the 6 months, the employers that are paying cash, at the end of that 6 months, if they're paying cash and they don't have that card, these guys are committing crimes, these employers. They need to go to jail for 90 days. It'll be mandatory. And then they're going to start paying taxes that we all pay. And the economy's going to go up here because these guys, everyone's going to be
Let's cut it there. We'll come back to that. Kind of put a pin in that for a second, because I cannot believe this guy thinks he's going to win anything with this as part of his platform. Is he trying to get the Somalis up there to vote for him, the liberals? It ain't going to work, Mr. Lindell. Okay, we'll continue with a little of that and a lot more coming up. Stick around. The Anthony Cumia Show. We were just talking about Mike Lindell. He's running for the governor of the great state of Minnesota, the formerly great state of Minnesota. And this policy, what he's running on here, his platform, it's crazy. If you can get an illegal alien to go somewhere to fill out some form that gives them some kind of a temporary protective status here, you can cuff them and heave them back to wherever they came from. That's what we want. That's what we voted for when we voted for Donald Trump. Why would he think that his supporters, who, Trump supports him, why would he think Trump supporters would be for this, would like this idea? There's too many illegals that were allowed into this country under the Biden administration and others, and there's no room for all the riffraff. It's changing the entire complexion of the country. And I don't mean that, no pun intended, but our society is changing. The way Americans feel about America changes when you dilute it with people that don't give a crap about this country. So no, get out. if you want to come here and file some kind of a hardship, sanctuary status, or you're persecuted where you came from, sure, fill it out. Don't come in. And then when we get to the paperwork, we get to it. And if you're legitimately somebody that needs some type of amnesty or sanctuary here in America, it'll be considered. But the way he's talking, you let them in, and then you sign the papers, and they just go about their business. What? Well, you're a madman. I don't know what. Back on the crack, maybe? Back on the crack, right? I hope not. He seemed like a nice enough guy when I spoke to him and met him, but that's not what we want. Sorry. Not what we want. There's other people running. Who's running for Senate in the great state of Texas? James Tallarico. Another nut. He's the Democrat nominee down there running for U.S. Senate in Texas. And his take on things is nuts, too. We have people that do not understand how this country runs, how it's supposed to run, the best way to run it, what the people of this country want, the people that you are supposed to represent, and then take their wishes and desires to Washington and talk about how we can give your constituents what they want and need. And I don't know. I don't know about Texas, but I don't think they want the prisons gone. I don't think Texans want their prisons gone. This is kind of a thing that's catching on with the Democrat socialists, the liberals, the commies, prisons. So here's AC 19. James Tallarico running for the Senate out of Texas.
Poverty is violence.
Poverty.
Pollution is violence. And yes, prison is violence. Dismantle this system of violence, build something new, something better, something rooted in love. It's hard to imagine a world without prisons, but it was also hard to imagine a world without telegrams and cassette tapes. Just because it's hard to imagine doesn't mean you shouldn't.
It's hard to imagine a world without prisons, but it's hard also to imagine a world without cassette tapes. Did he actually say that? Yeah, it is very hard to imagine a world without prisons. You could get a little glimpse of it when they stopped making people post bail and they were able to keep violent criminals in jail. That was good. And then we can imagine what it's like if there are no prisons by the violence, assaults, and murders that you see happening because they're letting them out of these jails. So, yeah, doing away with prisons. What do they think the solution is? And he goes, prisons are violence. Pollution is violence. Really? That's, you consider, I think prison is violence. I've seen quite a few movies, and it does not look like a place you want to be. Especially considering where the violence usually happens. In the shower. Yeah, you don't want that kind of violence. Boy, what a deterrent. There are people that are in desperate need of things, and they don't steal. They don't rob people. They don't do things. And I think because prison is such a deterrent, not the bars, not the uncomfortable bed, or the prison guards telling you where you got to be and when you got to do it. Let's be real. We all know why we don't want to end up in prison. It is an amazing deterrent. So, yeah, prison is violence. And it's needed. I can't fathom somebody thinking we should get rid of prisons. And they never have a solution. Some social program, some shrinks or counselors or a youth organization, or like Brandon Johnson in Chicago says, we're just going to open up some YMCAs and let them play knock hockey and Parcheesi all night instead of doing teen takeovers and street takeovers. They live in a fantasy world where nothing makes sense, and they never take into consideration what is really happening. They just live in a fantasy. I certainly don't want them getting rid of prisons, and I don't think a lot of the sane people of this country are into them getting rid of prisons. You know what we do need, and I talk about this a lot, mental institutions. Imagine the jobs. They used to have them everywhere. Every town had a mental institution, and it was a big Gothic-looking building with gargoyles and amazing oldie time architecture, bars on the windows. You'd hear sounds. You'd see some crazy old woman in a robe kind of strolling the grounds. And you knew that that's where they put the nuts. And when you go into a subway and you see crazy people now and go, well, what are we supposed to do about them? You're supposed to have mental institutions, places to put these crazy people. And those went away. We need that. Imagine the construction. That's going to help the economy. The businesses to feed and clothe the people that work there. And the doctors, the janitors, the caretakers. You'd help the economy and you'd get all these nuts off the street. But, you know, the people like this idiot running in Texas here, James Tellerico, they live in a fantasy world where you could just take one of these nut jobs and talk to him for a few minutes, and he'll be fine. Maybe shove some pills down his throat, and then he'll be dandy. Not a problem. He'll be great. You put him back out into the public, and he'll get a job, like a movie, you know, like the homeless people in movies. They just fell through the cracks, but they're great people. They just want to support their kid, but, you know, he fell on hard times. He got laid off, and there's always some story. And that's not the case. They are nuts, dangerous for the most part, and they've just decided that they have to live and sleep and defecate and injure people where we live and work. In most big cities, it's just something they've decided you have to live with. They did. The politicians, the people running for office. How do you run on that platform? I don't know. I certainly would be running on a platform of more prisons and big Gothic mental institutions for kids to be scared of. Nothing better than driving past one when you're a kid. You go, I'm back in a minute. The Anthony Cumia Show, and with the election, the midterms coming up in 100 days, they're all out there. They're all out there yapping. And, of course, Pete Buttigieg, he's out there. And he's doubling down on his proposal for, of course, Supreme Court reform. They hate the fact that the Supreme Court is mostly conservative, right-leaning justices. But we've seen some turncoats in the Supreme Court, especially of late. Some of their decisions not quite down right-wing or Republican Party lines. And that's part of the Supreme Court. You know, it's just part of it. That's how it's supposed to work. Look, I'd like a win on everything. But the way that the Democrats talk about it, they think it's corrupt and rigged, and everything, every decision coming out of it is going to be right-wing and conservative, and that's just not the case. They're being babies. You're a baby. Because that's how it works. But, of course, since it's not them that have the majority, They think that reform is needed. And they want to load it up. They want more justices. They want term limits for the justices. Do you think if they had a liberal justice majority that they would be yelling about putting more justices in there and having term limits? Of course not. This is what they do. And it's so obvious. I don't know how anybody can't see what they're doing. But here's AC-18. This is Pete Buttigieg talking about Supreme Court reform.
The legitimacy of the Supreme Court is, I believe, the lowest it's ever been in the eyes of the American people.
In the eyes of you?
Like a nakedly partisan institution. We could do some things about that. At a minimum, term limits so that you know for each presidential term how many Supreme Court appointments are going to go with it. But I also think we would be better off with a court that has something like 13 justices that would match the number of districts that we have in the federal system. And ideally, appoint them in a way that isn't so partisan. There are a lot of interesting different ideas and proposals for how to do it.
Of course. And I'm sure all of these interesting proposals on how to do it would be an advantage to you and your ilk, your lot. It's so blatantly obvious. How do you think you could just put more justices on there? And I'm sure, would they like it if they were all Republican justice or right-leaning conservative justices? Would they like that? Well, it's good. Whatever. We don't really care the party that they're with or their political ideology. Just we want it to be 13. Yeah, right. Always trying to get a leg up or an edge by changing the system from what it's been, from how it's worked for quite some time. And, bunch of rats. They're all rats, I'll tell you. David, my David, what's up?
Hello.
Hi, David from Brooklyn. How are you?
Oh, hi. Fine. How are you?
Good.
I just want to make a comment about Mamdani. When he was first running, I had to hold my nose and vote for Cuomo because we really didn't want him elected. But he was elected, and then when he was elected, I thought that perhaps, that he might realize it's New York City, it's the most diverse place on earth, that maybe he would, turn it. But now, recently, he's shown his true colors, that he's really not only anti-Israel, but basically anti-Semitic. Notion that to arrest, and then when he snubbed the Israeli Day Parade, which he was the only mayor in history to do that, and he's also, I think, the only mayor to ever say that about Netanyahu. So he talks about free buses and and rent stoppages and all this, but it belies his true agenda. I think he's. It's scary. It's just scary.
Yeah.
I wish there was something we could do about it. I mean,
you got to wait till another election, and then wait for the liberal dummies in New York to vote in another piece of crap.
I mean, is there an impeachment process for the New York mayor? Is that even possible? Or
They'd
what?
never get enough. He won. They'd never get enough people on board for something like that, like a recall or something. And I don't even know what New York's laws are as far as that goes. But it seems like, look, it would be nice to imagine, but this guy's going to be your mayor until his term is up. And from the looks of it, it doesn't seem like the majority of New Yorkers have a problem with that. It's crazy. Thanks, David. Here's another Mamdani thing, another policy, another thing he's doing here in New York. He's taken the first step in implementing the controversial new Pierre de Terre tax, Pepe Le Pew tax. It's the tax on people that own property, buildings in New York City that are worth $5 million or more, and they don't live there. That's what it is. They're empty apartments or empty buildings or property that isn't being used. And he wants this taxed at an astounding rate. Because why? It's an investment. Why is New York a place that you can't have investment property? If I want to buy a building, and believe me, a $5 million building in New York, you're not talking a big palatial mansion or giant penthouse building. $5 million ain't much in New York. That's for sure. And if it's empty, like an investment property, he's going to tax you. Now, you're already paying the property tax. You're paying all kinds of taxes, utility bills. You're paying for everything. They want a brand new tax. You bought the building and you're not utilizing it to put people in it, tax. And why is this something that should be legal? Why can you tell me what I can and can't do with my property if I'm paying all of the fees for owning the building? And it comes down to that insane thing that goes on here in New York City. They have this impression that New York City has to be affordable to everybody. It's nuts when you think about it. And Mamdani is obviously from this school of thought. We should have a New York that's affordable to everyone. Why? It's one of the most expensive places on the face of the earth to live. And I assume there's a reason for that. It's a big city. It's kind of hard to get goods and services in and out of New York. You know, everything's got to be trucked in over a limited amount of entryways, bridges, tunnels. There's all kinds of fees for trucks to get in. So everything's going to be a little more than it is in Jersey or Long Island or Connecticut. And why is there this delusion that it has to be affordable? There were plenty of people that lived out on Long Island and worked in New York City. You know why they commute every day? Because they couldn't afford to live in New York. It's a very expensive place to live. So you commute. You live in Jersey, you live in Connecticut, upstate, Westchester. But you know, I want to live in Beverly Hills. Is there the mayor of Beverly Hills saying Beverly Hills should be affordable to everybody that wants to live there? Do you know how crazy that would be? Everyone would be like, what? Especially the Hollywood people. Bel Air or Brentwood, is another one of those hoity-toity areas that celebrities live. What if he said that? Hey, this should be affordable. So why is New York a place that's so expensive to live that they have this delusion that it should be affordable to everybody? I don't know. Pamela in Jersey, what's up?
Hey, I got some insane asylum stories.
I love a good insane asylum story.
Hey, I'm from Central Jersey, and my brother moved to a new place in Morris Plains, which is in more towards northern New Jersey. So I'm leaving their house late at night, and I take the wrong turn.
Uh-oh, this sounds like a movie.
Well, it was for me. And I end up in this place with big buildings and bad lighting and nobody around. And I'm like, where the heck am I? And I see gray stone, and I'm thinking, oh, gray stone buildings. Oh, my God, I'm in Greystone. And it was after it closed, so there was nobody around.
That's pretty creepy.
And it was like a maze, and I'm like trying to get out, and I finally got out. It was horrifying. Then I'm back in Central Jersey in an area where one of those old Gothic insane asylums once was. And my husband and I are on a motorcycle, going on a nice trip, and we see a sign that says park, not knowing what's beyond that sign. We just see park. Oh, okay, let's take. And with the bike, you couldn't get in there with a car, but a bike or a bicycle, you could get in. And I don't know if somebody did that as a joke or what, but we end up in this Gothic, falling apart, old insane asylum that at one time must have been a magnificent building.
Yeah, they were all kind of, great architecture, really creepy. Yeah.
Yeah, and it had, the dragons, the griffins, and it was all falling apart, and it took us a while to figure out how the heck to get out of there. And so I bought one of those New Jersey books on insane asylums. Now, a lot of them were used to house tuberculosis patients also. And New Jersey was filled with them. Jersey City, Verona, all over the place, these magnificent buildings, and they let them just rot.
Yeah, they rot away. They just let the nuts out onto the streets and into the communities. I don't know how they thought that was a good idea. Maybe they thought the prescription business, the medical business, medicines had gotten so good that they could just put pills down these people's throats and release them. But it's not working. We really need to get back to that and build some new ones. I think they could do a good job with the new modern building techniques and technology. But inside, I don't want to know what's happening. I like the idea of electric shock treatments, lobotomies, things like that. Old school. Let's do it old school, Pamela. Thank you, dear. There was, it used to be cool to go. There was Kings Park Psychiatric Center on Long Island. Pilgrim State was another one. They all had these creepy names. And the best thing you could do was take a girl there because she would be so scared that she wouldn't want to leave. Is that bad? Is that something that sounds like sexual abuse in 2026? I'm not saying that they wanted to leave. I'm just saying it creeped them out. Maybe they'd kind of, snuggle up to you in the seat. You're drinking some Southern Comfort. I made her a slow gin fizz, and we're hanging out at the mental institution. Oh, I was a catch, ladies. What a treat. What a date that sounds like, right? Come on. Who you kidding? They were fun, the mental institutions. And that was just in the car if you were driving around those creepy streets. There were people I knew that went inside, and I was just too big. My friends would call me the P word for gay. What are you doing, Anthony? I wouldn't go in, though. No way. No way. We should talk about the Shiloh Hendricks N-word case, the dreaded N-word case that's going on, or it's done. Shiloh Hendricks, if you remember, she was in a park. A young African-American kid, I think 9 years old, had gone into one of her bags and stolen something or attempted to steal something. And she got in a little argument with this kid and dropped the N-bomb on the kid. And a Somali gentleman who had a camera with him was videoing her and dared her to say it again to him. And he said it a couple of times. He dared her, and she turned around and said it. She dropped like the dreaded 3 N's in a row. And that was that. But then the video goes viral. She gets arrested and put on trial. I guess she decided to take it to court. Sometimes you got to do these little tests of the First Amendment. And, you hope somebody isn't just going to cop a plea. And let's see it through and see how the courts handle a First Amendment case. If we still have our First Amendment right. Because I don't care who you are. This absolutely falls under your free speech rights. Well, she went to court and she was acquitted. It was for disturbing the peace. That was the crime. Disturbing the peace. She was acquitted on disturbing the peace for using the N-word to the child, but she was convicted of disturbing the peace for using the N-word to the guy with the camera. By the way, the jury was never told the guy with the camera was a convicted sex offender and was at a playground with a camera and no kid. This is who the guy was. And, of course, the judge didn't allow that information to the jury, but it didn't seem like it mattered. The guy with the camera needed 2 separate interpreters because he didn't speak English. I can't imagine a jury of her peers were actually a jury of her peers, and they found her guilty. Now, disturbing the peace, they decided that this was because she used what they called fighting words. That dropping an N-bomb on someone is considered fighting words. But there was no fight. You can't even say it's fighting words if there's no subsequent fight. She was arrested, tried, convicted, and sentenced for nothing more than what she said. Offensive? Sure. Illegal? Nope. I just don't know how. Well, I do know how. This came out this way. It's a travesty of justice. And her lawyer spoke. This was, maybe we'll play the first one. AC 12. Yeah, do the AC 12 first.
Decide exactly what question the jurors would be asked to answer with a ruling. The judge made it clear that jurors would be asked to decide if Hendricks' use of a slur towards a child, as shown in the now viral video, should be considered fighting words or not, which are words targeted at one person that would cause them to react violently. The jury is not being asked to decide whether offensive speech should be protected under the Constitution. And this point is something that both city lawyers and Hendricks' lawyer, Brian Corrales, continued to argue over as jury selection went on. The right to free speech, offensive or not, is something that got passionate support outside the courthouse from.
Yeah, this isn't something you can't just say, well, we're not considering this a First Amendment case. You can't have the judge tell the jury, we're not asking you to consider whether this is a First Amendment issue. But it is. Just because you tell the jury that doesn't mean it's now not a First Amendment issue. You're putting restrictions on this woman's speech. You're saying that if she speaks and says something that is not illegal, does something that isn't illegal, that her rights will be violated. She will be convicted for nothing more than saying something. I definitely want to hear some of the callers' takes on this one, so we'll do that when we come back. The Anthony Cumia Show, and we're talking about the Shiloh Hendricks N-word case. A decision came in. The jury found her guilty of 1 count of disturbing the peace for using the N-word. The N-word against a guy who was in a park with a camera around kids. I mean, a little shady there. But the judge, as I said before, was instructing the jury that this is not... they are not deciding whether this is a First Amendment issue. It is. The judge saying that doesn't make it so. There's a lot of instances of the Second Amendment being infringed upon because, and it happened in New York City, where they decided that you cannot restrict people from carrying a weapon in New York City. If they are licensed and went through all the hoops that you need to go through to get a New York State license, the city can then not just arbitrarily say, you can't come into New York City with a weapon. I can. I am a New York State license holder. So what did they do? They made all of these restrictions that you can't have a gun on your person within a certain radius of a federal building, a school, a church, a library. They came up with so many things that when you look at a map of Manhattan, it overlapped every single inch of New York City. So even though they weren't saying we are going to infringe on your Second Amendment right by not allowing you to come into New York, they put so many restrictions that in essence, that is what they wound up doing. And it's the same thing here. Oh, it's not the First Amendment. It's not what she said. She was disturbing the peace. By what? By what she said. That you can't cover up infringing on people's rights by saying that there's some restriction that was in place or that she disturbed the peace. Are you kidding? Can you imagine how many people would be getting arrested for disturbing the peace, for dropping N-bombs because they considered it fighting words? It would be thousands upon thousands of people a day being arrested and put in jail. So I'm not buying it. I think this is an easy victory on appeal. But here's Shiloh Hendricks' defense attorney talking about what happened. I sure hope you guys bleeped this. We will find out soon. Here is the defense attorney not happy with the decision.
Did your client show any remorse after getting out of the courtroom today regarding the statement by the NAACP president about the impact that this incident had on the community as a whole?
You asked me this before. This is for you people. This is a clown show. The community. The community doesn't give a shit. Okay, I'm voir diring the community. Half the people in the jury room are like, when I'm voir diring them, why are we here? What is this about? Why are we, what's going on? You asked me this before, like, oh, what about...
I did not ask you that before.
No, last interview, you said, oh, what about the community? Like, how has it affected the community? There is such a tiny percentage of people that drive this stuff now. Your cancel culture, you write this stuff, let's make it go viral. You're all part of the same sickness, right?
I love this guy.
How do we get hits and clicks? And you're dying. You're dying. Your news organizations are literally dying because nobody believes you anymore. Hold on. I asked this jury in this trial, who here believes the media anymore? Who here looks at the media and go, I don't know what to believe. I don't really trust any of these people
But what
anymore.
Does the media
they all raise their hand.
What does this have to do with
Because all you look for are hits and clicks. You're going to cut this in a way that benefits your hits and clicks, and you're dying. You're just dying. You guys are dinosaurs. Oh, keep going. It does. You're not going to give anyone an honest shake. You're not going to do the research. You're not going to look up Rule 901. You're not going to press the prosecutor. You're not going to press the judge. You know what you're going to press? Whatever woke shit you come up with. That's what you guys push. Woke over and over and over again. Do your jobs. Investigate. Maybe learn something. Be fair. Have you ever thought about that? Fairness. Try it sometime.
I love him. That was good because of course it's like, does she have any remorse? You know, the NAACP said the community was really impacted by this, and he's like, go screw. What are you talking about? There's no reason for her to have remorse. How about get the appeal running day one? Because this was a travesty of justice. This is not the way things go in the United States of America when we have a freedom of speech. We have the right to say things without being arrested for what we're saying. This was no fire in a movie theater garbage. She called the guy out. He taunted her to say the word. He taunted her. Say it to me. Go ahead, say it. And then she did. That's fighting words? What? Please. Larry. What's up, Larry? How you doing, man?
Hello, it's Robert.
Oh, Robert, Larry. Whatever. North Carolina. How you doing, man?
Yeah, your fellow expat.
Yeah, I hear.
Fighting words, I believe, is not the same everywhere.
No.
Like from one part of the country to another. It's too subjective.
It is way too subjective. And even if they were fighting words, it doesn't merit a conviction on disturbing the peace. She said something. It was offensive to some people, and that is really the only thing that mattered here to the, like the lawyer said, the woke people that, tried to cancel her. All right, Larry, I got to go. I'm sorry. Didn't have much time for that call. Back in a minute. Yes, it is the Anthony Cumia Show. Thanks for tuning in, supporting the old program. We do appreciate that. And, there's some other things in the news as far as legal issues go, cases. This one isn't a court case yet, but we will see. Of course, I'm talking about the Nolan Wells case, the drowning or murder. We're not quite sure, depending on who you talk to. You talk to old Ben Crump, and this was a lynching right out of the early 1900s, Jim Crow era. And then, most sensible people would go, kid's 18 years old. He's out with his friends, 4th of July on a boat. He's chasing some tail. And drunk, trips, whatever. People don't really know exactly what happened, but it's pretty clear that he probably drowned. He probably was going into the water when he was intoxicated, maybe trying to swim out to a boat, maybe trying to impress somebody. I don't know. But Occam's razor dictates that all of a sudden his good friends didn't just turn on him, and in some conspiracy that involves anywhere from 3 to 7 other people, murder this kid and then get their boat towed home. None of it makes sense. As far as a murder goes, it doesn't make any sense. They talk about the phone. Why did they have his phone? Well, the boat, you anchor the boat, the hundreds of people that were there in boats, you anchor the boat off of the beach. You don't pull it right up to the beach. So anyone going in and out or to and from the boat to the island are in waist-deep water when you're getting out of the boat. There's no cell signal on the island. You're going to carry your phone over your head when you're in the water. You're going to put it in the sand. What are you going to do with it? So it wasn't insane that his phone wasn't with him and was on the boat. As a matter of fact, everyone else's phones were also on that boat because, as I said, you wouldn't take it with you into the water. When they got home, they gave the phone right over to the parents. And Ben Crump is one of the guys saying, why didn't the police have custody of the phone before? Because no one even knew what was going on yet. And when they called Nolan Wells' parents and said, we have his phone, the father said, I'll be right there to get it. There wasn't this panic to call the cops and start dusting everything for fingerprints. But in hindsight, and of course through this racial bias lens that Ben Crump and Al Sharpton and company are using, well, then of course, there has to be something nefarious that went on. They've spoken to the other kids involved that were on the boat. There's nothing to indicate that any foul play had happened. I knew this was going to happen. I talked about this last week. Ben Crump had an independent autopsy done because, of course, why would he trust the Mississippi state medical examiner or the county of Jackson medical examiner? So I said, here's what's going to happen. They're going to do an autopsy on this body and go, yeah, it's inconclusive. oh, well, there were some abrasions, but it could have been the waves knocking him around on the beach, the rocks, what have you. And that's exactly what it was. But Ben Crump had to go, this seems significant. It was significant. If you listen to Ben Crump, I don't know how this guy became a lawyer. That is significant. Oh, okay. So they did the funeral. They had his memorial service, and he was eulogized by Reverend Al Sharpton. Reverend Al never knew this kid. Didn't know him from a hole in the wall. Where were the friends? I know there were a couple of people that were on the boat that have been getting death threats that didn't want to go to the memorial because they were afraid for their lives. That makes sense. You certainly don't want to put yourself in danger. But the fact that they are running with things, they are trying to come up with a reason that this should be murder, trying to come up with a scenario. And they're stretching things to such a crazy level. If you look at this and what it is and what happened, most likely, and I'm not saying definite, who am I? But most likely, this happens a lot. It happens a lot. People lose their lives being stupid, drunk, young, a boat. Then there's the blatant lies. Ben Crump is like, he was fully clothed. No. The people that actually found him had said he had shorts on. He had shorts on. That was it. And saying he was fully clothed is a lie. There were things erased from his phone. How do they know? How do they know? Maybe he erased them and didn't want to see things like Snapchat. You know, you say some dumb things there. He was trying to pick up a girl. Maybe he put some dumb stuff, messages to her. And then the parents, how did they have the password to get into his phone? I would never let my parents have a password. Although I was not going to use a password on the wall phone in the kitchen because that's the only phone I had when I was a kid. But none of it even looks like it points to any wrongdoing or foul play. But Reverend Al had said there's a huge reward. It was a $50,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of who did this. And they keep talking about the family needs answers and justice for Nolan Wells. Justice. What justice is there in drowning? It's terrible. It's a tragedy. But, you know, who's responsible? Things happen. And to see Ben Crump up there, these are people that just want their name out there. They're making money off of this. We know it. We've seen this modus operandi before. They make money off of it. And you know it's reached a point where it's ridiculous. It's being used by other people for money and for publicity. When Nancy Grace gets involved, this slob, Nancy Grace, she don't work here, does she? Okay. She was the same one years ago with the Casey Anthony trial. Look, Casey Anthony is certainly no saint. I think she killed her young daughter, or at least covered it up. The problem was the prosecution did not, within a reasonable doubt, find that she had done anything to end the life of her kid. But Nancy Grace was on there every night. You know, Tot Mom murdered that girl. And then when the idiot yentas that watch her saw the result of the trial and they said not guilty, they all thought there was some kind of a problem with the jury or the trial or the evidence. But there wasn't. The prosecution just didn't do the job they needed to do. There wasn't enough evidence to say she definitely killed the kid. And in this case, Nancy Grace, she's doing it again, just making stuff up, trying to lean toward the side that something bad happened because she knows that's what people will watch. So we have a few clips of her, and everything seems to be a bombshell. Everything's a bombshell with Nancy Grace. Listen to this, and her voice. Ugh. AC 8.
Nolan Wells bombshell tonight.
Bombshell.
The dead teen's messages deleted after his body washes ashore.
I hate her.
Caitlin, now allegations have reared their ugly head that his phone has been tampered with and items have been deleted. Explain.
They had his phone.
Explain.
And when his mother was looking for his phone when he was missing, there were two different ways to identify it, either a Snapchat location or a Life 360 location. They showed different locations, which is very possible because one updates automatically, the other only updates when you open the app.
You just said it's possible.
When she finally tracked it down, she says there was nothing on it from that day.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't get a signal. So location things aren't going to update until you're out on the boat and it updates your location, which is what happened to his phone because it was on the boat. And that doesn't matter that there's two different locations that popped up on the boat. They want her, she wants this so bad. A bombshell found in the water. I hear a crab as witness to this murder. Listen to this one. Here's another one. She talks about the autopsy, AC9.
Bombshell tonight in the tragic death of a young man, Nolan Wells. In the last hours, we learn the contents of a second independent autopsy on Nolan's body.
Yeah, nothing.
Preliminary report, second autopsy, death of Nolan Xavier Wells. Cause of death, undetermined,
he
pending investigation.
What do you have,
the manner of
crabs
death,
in his ears?
Undetermined, pending investigation.
Bombshell.
Making the water even more murky. In the COD, cause of death, and MOD, manner of death. That's from our friends at NAACP. What happened to Nolan Wells?
I can't stand her. We'll take a quick break and then come back with one more great clip from Nancy Grace after this. Talking about the Nolan Wells death. Was it a drowning? Was it something more nefarious? Ben Crump and Reverend Al have their claws in this one. And Nancy Grace trying to get some heat. Trying to get some heat for her show. A bombshell. Let's play one more clip from the great Nancy Grace. Nancy Grace on the case.
Dear Lord in heaven, what is wrong with people? If this were your child, wouldn't you want to know what happened?
Well,
he goes out with friends. They all come back. He's dead. I don't understand the hate directed toward Nolan's family and to everyone looking for answers. At this hour, I don't think anyone is guilty, but I do know that there is a conflict in the stories, and we are not stopping until we know what happened to Nolan Wells. So you can send all the hate and vitriol you want. Have at it.
Sounds good. We'll do that. Yeah, we understand. First of all, there's no hate to the family. they're grieving. They definitely would like to know what had happened. The problem is when you have a drowning where the person was alone, you're really not going to know exactly everything that happened second by second during his last moments. It's terrible. There are plenty of instances where people pass away like that, and you're not going to get every single detail and know exactly what happened. And but every indication is that he drowned right now. Any indication of foul play is stuff that is so fabricated and so thrown together by people with ulterior motives that you can't look at it seriously. And now her being so she's hitting the desk. We want to know, can someone give me some Afrin? My nose is so stuffy. Well, is that from a nose job? Probably, right? Probably got a nose job, and they always have problems with their noses once they get them fixed. I want smaller nose and bigger boobs. Bombshells, 2 big howitzer bombshells on my chest.
Bombshell tonight.
Yeah, the bombshell. Yeah, so look, it'll go on while it's still profitable to the people that are saying something happened. But to say that the autopsy results, the secondary autopsy results, show that there's nothing to report and we're going to need more. We're going to need a further investigation and nothing's conclusive. Yeah, because you're looking for a crime. It's conclusive in that he died and he drowned, and that's about it. They were talking about some red mark on the back of his head. Yeah, he was in the water. He was getting knocked around by the water. And then his head was on, it's terrible, on that little slab thing. They don't give you a comfy pillow when they're doing an autopsy on you. But it has to be. It has to be something bad, please. You've heard the story here about Ryan Clark from ESPN. He got fired. The boot. Hey, I know what it's like. I've been on that end where you get the boot. They don't like you anymore. You maybe say something stupid. Whatever. But Ryan Clark, I don't know much about him, but it doesn't seem like he was liked. Seems like he had beef with a lot of people over there. Whatever. And he got fired. Yeah, people get fired. Broadcasting, it's probably the business where more people are fired than any other business. But here's what you don't do. I'll give you some advice. I'll give everyone that wants to be in broadcasting or is in broadcasting a little advice. Here it is. You never apologize for what they said you did. If that's why you got fired. You just don't. Your fans, the people that are going to still be with you when you move on to the next thing, will hate you for it. They will not support you anymore if you sit there and grovel. And the people you're groveling to, they really don't care. And they're just using it as a humiliation ritual. And they're not going to support you. So you got to stick by the people that are going to support you. They don't want you to kowtow and bend over, bend the knee for anybody. So you never apologize. That depends on if you get fired for something that they want you to apologize for. Here's the other thing, and this is the rule Ryan Clark broke. You don't cry. If you're a man, you're a woman, yeah, I could see it. Women and that whole crying thing. But if you are a guy and you get the boot, ooh, you don't cry. That is a bad look, man. You'll never live it down. You'll always regret it. It might be something at the moment where you're like, oh, my emotions got the best of me and stuff. But 5 years from now, you're going to go, oh, I hated that I cried and I looked like a P word. Even if I could say that one. Or an F word, which is even worse. You know, I look like that. So why wouldn't I play audio of him crying? Here is Ryan Clark breaking down in tears as he reflected getting fired from ESPN, AC-15.
When I go home, and this kid, you know,
I left Ohio with 2 bad
from the
knees.
West Bank,
The dream.
is like so accepted in New Orleans now. Like, I wouldn't change that.
Sniffling.
You know, never.
Bad luck.
You know, like,
Oh. You know, like,
all I ever wanted to do is be accepted. You know, and want it. So.
Oh no! What are you doing?
So yeah, like that, I wouldn't change. You know. If you ask me, probably the first Monday of football, when all my friends get to do something
grab a beer and watch the game and shut up. You don't cry. Oh. You know, look, if you're Captain Kirk and Spock died of the radiation thing and you have to give a speech and you're like, of all the souls I've ever known, his is the most human. You know, that I understand. His good friend, I shall be. I always have been. Always shall be your friend. But you lost your gig. We've all lost gigs. I could tell you, I have never cried. and if I was, back in 95, I guess it was? Yeah. My father died. And I found out I was at the bar my wife at the time, my wife, worked at. I'm sitting there, and my brother called me and said, hey, bad news, Dad passed away. And I was like, okay, I got a shot. I told some people at the bar, and I drank. Of course, I drove home because you were allowed back then. And when I was alone, when I got home and shut the door to my room, I allowed myself a couple of minutes of emotion. That was it. And that's for a dead father. A gig, and you're at the point where you're sniffling. Snot is coming. Snot was running down his nose. I'm mortified for the guy. Oh, it's okay. Oh, Ryan, you'll get another gig. You okay? Aw, it's okay. You want your binky? The one shaped like a football. Okay. Bend over and we'll... Well, it doesn't end there, folks. Got to take a quick break, though, in a couple. But I do have another clip. He didn't just cry once. He went on a little crying tour. It's embarrassing for a dude. And I'll tell you about the time I saw my dad cry, which, a couple of notches came off the hero pulpit. In moments, don't you go anywhere. Anthony Cumia Show. We're talking a lot about Ryan Clark being fired from ESPN. Tears in his eyes, I guess, as he lines up this last shot. Cinderella boy. Ryan Clark crying. This clip is long, so I don't know if we're just going to sit. I don't think I can make it through a man crying for this length of time. So we'll see. We'll see how long we go. Here's more Ryan Clark crying.
You're a stand-up guy. You've always preached accountability. Looking back over your 11 years at ESPN, 12, is there anything you would do differently, or do you leave knowing that you were fully yourself, or, what are your thoughts, man?
It's a good question. It depends on when you ask me. Like you ask me, like when I see people
Here he goes.
in public,
I love the delay.
Like OGs and like aunties and stuff. And they tell me they proud of me.
Oh, boy.
And they proud of like...
He's going to lose it. There he goes.
And they proud of like the way...
You can act like a man. What's the matter with you?
I represent the community. Yeah. I wouldn't change anything.
Oh, Godfather, I lost my job.
Because that means the world to me.
Yeah.
You know, or like, when I go home,
Yo.
and this kid, you know,
yeah,
from the West Bank, is like so accepted in New Orleans now. Like, I wouldn't change that. You know? Never.
Yeah.
You know, like...
You can act like a man!
all I ever wanted to do was be accepted.
Oh, Godfather.
You know, and want it. So yeah, like that, I wouldn't change.
Stick your head in gravy, wash it off with bubble gum, and send
if you
it
ask
to the
me,
Navy.
Probably the first, like, Monday.
Yeah.
Of football.
He's crying through this whole thing. Yeah, we
get to
heard
do something
this.
like...
Okay.
We did, like...
Yeah.
You can act like a man! What's the matter with you?
Yeah, he needs a good slap from Don Corleone. Oh, my God. He just kept crying. What do you think? I wasn't emotional when I got fired? My mom was so proud of me and what the Opie and Anthony show could do with a stripper and a wiffle ball bat. And I had to tell her that I will no longer be crowning the queen of the wiffle ball bat challenge. I will no longer be putting co-eds, college co-eds, into 55-gallon drums and dousing them with fish guts and crickets and beetles. I'm almost crying now just thinking about it. Wow, dude, you gotta relax. That is a bad look. Bad look, man. All right. Godspeed. Get yourself another job. Speaking of sports, Sophie Cunningham, she's really taken off. She's getting a lot of heat and publicity and love. She is a WNBA 10. 12, probably, right? She is in the confines of the WNBA. She is a supermodel. A pretty girl, you know? And she's using her popularity to speak out on some issues, one of which was the men shouldn't be able to play in women's sports. And this is something that I think any reasonable person can jump on, because it's ridiculous. The advantage a man has, whether they have a dress on or not, whether they put on a little wig or not, the man will have an advantage. Oh, the hormones. Oh, yeah, it turns their bodies into a woman's body. Their upper body strength isn't as... Shut it. Of course they have an advantage. But, some of these people, they believe... and then they tell you, they scream at you to believe the science. And then they throw away every bit of biology and anatomy when it comes to this farce. So here's a little bit of, this is a long clip too. We'll cut it at some point, but here's some Sophie Cunningham getting grilled about the fact that she says that men should not be playing women in sports.
On that same vein, in that story with ESPN, you talked about wanting to protect young girls who shouldn't have to go against biological men. Just can you expand your viewpoint on that?
I mean, I think I said what I said. I think it's kind of common sense. And I think I'll always believe in that. I think it's really important to protect children. And that's little girls who are also involved in that category. And so I stand on what I said, and I always believe that.
Yeah. Do you see your advocacy on that, like, taking any form going forward?
I don't know. I'm not a very political person, but I do have beliefs. I have morals, and I'll always stand on those and be true to who I am. And I think people are going to take it how they want to take it, but I've never even really said anything about that. And so when it comes just to protecting young girls in sport and women in sport, I feel very strongly about that. I think that's why you have Title IX. That's why you have some of the greats in women's sports. If Title IX and women's sports weren't protected, then you wouldn't hear about any type of women in sport. And so I think in the future, it's just really important to protect.
Do you think, I guess, along the line like that, it goes against perhaps, some people might say, hey, for the trans community, this could be something that could come back on us.
Everything's a community.
Like, how do you, I guess, view that sort of critique?
Like I said, I extend love, and I don't dislike anyone. Like, I think there's room for absolutely everyone here, and I think there's room to love everyone. And I truly think when you get people in the same room and you have conversations, you actually have a lot in common with a lot of people. And so I'm there to love, but I'm also there to love biological women, and I think that there are rights that need to be protected. And like I said, I'm going to stand true to that. I'll never falter in my beliefs in that, but I have never once said I hated the trans community. Like I said, I think there's space for everyone.
Good for her. That'll do. That's pretty, boy, she's got to be the most well-spoken person in the WNBA. I got to say that. She was very articulate, very smart. She knows how to answer those questions because, oh, boy, would they love to tie her up. Well, who wouldn't, but to tie her up with what she said. Now she's in a controversy. Now she's suspended for a couple of games because she said the wrong thing about transgender athletes. But she's good. That Angel Reese is hilarious. How the hell is this a woman that is in the sport at all? They had the All-Star game. She scored 0 points. I don't even know NBA basketball stuff. But she's so bad that I even know how bad she is. She didn't score 1 point. She had some assists and whatnot, but not a point. To watch her try to make a layup is hilarious. Just a spaz going down the court. She tries to knock it in. Isn't that the easiest shot? I am convinced a boys' high school basketball team could kick the crap out of any WNBA team. It's like the women's soccer team. Didn't they play a bunch of boys, like a junior high school soccer team, and they slayed them? Yeah, she is just not good at basketball. And she's trying to have this image that transcends that. Like Caitlin Clark is really good, but she's also presenting an image that she's getting these endorsements. I think Puma endorsed her with a sneaker deal or whatever. And Angel Reese is trying it, and you just see it with those ridiculous giant eyelashes and the pink hair, and you go, what the hell is this? What is going on? So, I like that Sophie Cunningham there. And we couldn't possibly do a segment about transgender people without the great Elliot Page. The great Elliot Page being brought up and spoken about. Elliot, of course, a role in the new movie Odyssey, The Odyssey, playing a Greek soldier, a masculine, manly Greek soldier. All right. And in Elliot's spare time, Elliot was voicing a documentary about how animals are gay. Oh, yeah. Now, look, I have a dog. I've had a dog for a little over a year now. And there are times I question my dog sexually and think he might be gay. But then you realize, no, they just hump everything. Dogs that's what male dogs do. I'm looking over the corner. There's a couch cushion, and he's going after that. There's an ottoman, a bar stool. You're not gay. He's just a horny little young pup dog. But when you talk to Elliot Page and company, that has to mean something, that animals are gay. Millennia after millennia of animal evolution and animal species lineage, all based on the fact that they are heterosexual. Animals, the only reason we have lions and tigers now is because lions and tigers are heterosexual, and that's how it works. The idea that there's gay animals is ludicrous. So here's Elliot trying to convince people that I'm full of crap.
Hey,
hey.
Good morning. Well, from where I am, and hello to everyone.
This is Elliot, 1 year
I just wanted to let you know
that
that starting tomorrow in New York City at DCTV, the beautiful documentary Second Nature, directed by Drew Denny, will be playing for a week. And yes, I'm an executive producer and was lucky enough to get to narrate it, but even if I had nothing to do with it, I'd be telling you to see it.
Of course.
It is so exceptional in sharing this information that we did not learn in school about gender and sexuality.
Yeah, we didn't learn it in school because it's poppycock.
And follows Joan Roughgarden, brilliant evolutionary biologist who wrote Evolution's Rainbow, as well as other scientists researching and doing this incredible work and sharing this information.
Incredible work.
And the doc is not just deeply informative, it's also so funny and warm and inviting and expansive. And
sounds like
I really hope you get
talking about
a chance
anatomy.
to see it. And if you're not in New York or an area with screenings, you can also set up your own screening. So if you go to the Second Nature website, please reach out. Okay.
Thank you.
See ya.
Wow. All man right there. All man. Speaking from the abs. That one. Yeah, I'm going to set up my own screening. Could you imagine me calling my good friends and be like, hey, I'm got a screening happening at my house. It's about how animals are gay. Hello? Hello? Are you there? Elliot Page. There you go. Let us speak with Roger from Westchester, New York. Roger, what's up, man?
Well, hi, Anthony. Your show is great. I listen to it. But I think it's time that we stop legal immigration because it's getting crazy now and out of control. Nobody talks about it because the big people want it. They want the countries flooded. And it's going to be crazy because if this happens and nobody talks about legal immigration. They try to blame college kids for Mamdani getting elected.
So what's your take on it, Steve?
My take is that the people in the political power and the corporate power want this country invaded.
Yeah.
They've invited 100 million third worlders into the country. I hear people scratching their head. Why did the country become a third world country? Well, you invited all these people in here.
They did.
And now they're trying to blame college kids for electing these third world communists. No, it's not the college kids doing it. It's the third worlders doing it. 85% of the people who voted for Commie are foreigners who gained USA citizenship, and they're milking this country dry. I said it on 9/11, the day after. I called the Bob Grant Show, and I said, there are people in America who are laughing about what happened on 9/11. They aren't going to come out and say it. But eventually, in our lifetimes, we're going to hear people who say we deserved it, and they're going to come out and say it, and that's what's happening now. My words rang true. A lot of people.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show, and I'm going to spend a little time here on the American Bar Association president grilling in Congress, and that was pretty fun. Brandon Gill is great. He's a guy that he doesn't get flustered. He sticks to the questions, and he's got this as a matter of fact attitude when these people are just struggling or not giving him a yes or no answer. Jim Jordan's good too, watching him with these people. But look, nothing ever happens. Like I said, it's entertainment. It's fun to watch. The clips go out. No one watches these things like live. You wait for the fun clips to come out, and watching someone squirm is pretty fun. So this is Brandon Gills, and he's questioning the American Bar Association's president. What the hell is her name? Yeah, whatever. And he's just grilling her, and it's kind of fun to listen to. AC2.
So do you agree that Americans should be judged by the content of their character and not by the color of their skin?
Yes, I would agree.
You agree with that? Should a law school consider an applicant's race when making admissions decisions?
You roped her right in.
The Supreme Court has indicated that
I'm asking you if they should. It's a normative question.
discrimination is never appropriate. And
so is it your testimony that law schools should not consider applicants' race when making admissions decisions?
The Supreme Court has said that you may not take race into account.
So you don't believe that race should have any role, yes or no, in a law school's admissions decisions? Is that the position of the ABA?
The ABA is not responsible for admissions.
I didn't say it was. I'm asking you.
She will not answer this.
If you believe, and if it's the position of the ABA, that race should not be a factor at all in a law school's admissions decisions.
The ABA takes compliance with the law seriously.
I didn't ask you that. I asked, it's a really simple question.
Yeah,
I'm asking
what the
you,
hell?
let me just ask you in your own personal capacity, should race be a factor in law school admissions decisions? The question is a yes or no question.
I am here in my
yes or no, should race be a factor
it's so frustrating.
in law school admissions decisions?
I am here in my capacity.
Because according to the ABA, it should. The ABA has said explicitly that they have a long history of supporting consideration of race in law school admissions. Is that your testimony, that law schools should continue taking into account race?
The Supreme Court indicated that diversity is a laudable goal, and the ABA supports diversity in all of its
This is embarrassing for you. You ought to be able to answer this in a very straightforward way.
This is embarrassing for you. Yeah, they just sit there and will not answer the question. And look, I've seen the other side of it where Democrats are questioning people and they won't give them a straight answer. So I get how it works, but I mean, for something like that, do you think, because he asked her, content of character over color of skin, and she agreed, yes, people should be judged that way. And then you go, well, then should people be accepted to a school based on race, just their color of their skin? And she will not answer the God. What are you doing? Drive me insane. So here's Gil asking about transgender Supreme Court justices. Here's another one that just, it's so simple. Give it a whirl.
Of those 116, how many of them have been transgender?
I have no idea.
Do you think there might have been one?
I have no idea.
Is it fair to say that there have been no transgender Supreme Court justices in American history?
I honestly have no idea.
You don't know?
I have no idea.
You study the law, don't you?
We do not study the personal attributes of individual justices.
Is there a Supreme Court justice in American history that you think might have been transgender?
I have no idea.
You have no idea? Well, I think most people can assume that there haven't been any transgender Supreme Court justices. I hope that we can agree at least on that.
That's so funny. I mean, you know, technically, if they were just at home wearing women's clothes, but I think that's more of a transvestite than transgender. But I can't imagine, and I certainly can't imagine going back even a few years that there would be. Now, the next Supreme Court justice, maybe, but over the course of the history of the Supreme Court, she just didn't want to fess up with that answer. Here is, where's that other one I had? Oh, Jim Jordan. Yeah, he's talking to the president, the ABA president, about the organization's radical left-wing positions. Jim's good, too.
Third sentence of your written testimony, you said that the American Bar Association is a nonpartisan organization. Is that really true?
Yes, sir, it is.
Really? You take any partisan positions as the American Bar Association?
I think you're full of
The
crap.
ABA takes position when our House of
The
Delegates...
association opposes any law that restricts abortion. This came out after the Dobbs decision. That's pretty partisan. The American Bar Association opposes detention of individuals who are here illegally. Any migrants who break our immigration laws, you oppose detention.
Partisan.
Those sound pretty partisan positions to me. Would you agree?
The ABA takes positions by our House of
Company
Delegates,
line.
which is made up of 600 lawyers from across the country. When we take positions, we do so based on the information that we believe is...
How about men and women's sports? Do you have a position on that?
All right. Good.
I don't have a list of all of our...
I'll read from
we can cut it there. That's so funny. All right, people. Hey, thanks for tuning in, man. We will be back next Sunday. Anthony Cumia on X, if you want to keep tabs on what I'm doing during the week. And we appreciate you tuning in to this very program. Have yourselves a great rest of your week. Later.